It has been a great day so far with excellent discussion panels and great attendance. And now we're coming to another very important topic, the topic of financing. Cyprus has become even more so a regional financing hub, and the Cypriot banks have increased and intensified their involvement with the sector and their support of the industry. So I would like to welcome you to this panel. I would like to thank Antonis Spanakis from Hellenic Bank, Constantinos Milios from Eurobank, and Nikos Pavlidis from Bank of Cyprus. And very special thanks to Adam Montanios and his firm. One of the things that we have gained, one of the invaluable benefits for us is the friendships that we have developed in Cyprus. And I'm grateful for all of you being part of the panel. And Adam, thank you for your firm to be every year a loyal supporter, rain on shine. And again, thank you very much for your commitment to us and also, of course, to Cyprus. And the same goes to you guys. Thank you all for being with us.
Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you for having this forum for Cyprus. Thank you for promoting Cyprus through this forum. Welcome all to our panel. Nicholas has introduced our panelists. Nicholas Pavlidis, Head of Shipping of Bank of Cyprus, Constantinos Milios, Head of Shipping Finance, Eurobank Cyprus, and Antonios Spanakis, Head of Ship Finance, Hellenic Bank. Gentlemen, let's start with a broad question to get the discussion started. It has been more than 5 years since your banks, Cypriot banks, actively got involved with shipping and ship financing, aiding with the establishment of Cyprus, as Nicholas mentioned, as a regional financial hub. Where do you see now, today, your own bank within the Cyprus shipping cluster? And could you also touch upon the challenges and opportunities that you have encountered during these past few years and how you dealt with the former or taken advantage with the latter? Nicholas, I think your name was first in the program, so can you go first?
Yes, of course. Can you hear me?
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to thank Nicholas Bornozis and the Capital Link team for doing this event, which is necessary, particularly in circumstances like the present pandemic. Now, to your question or questions, I should say, Adam, Bank of Cyprus set up the shipping center not more than 5, but actually about 3 years ago. In late 17, we set up the shipping center, and in early 18, we started operations. So we've had 3 clean years of operations, a little bit less than the other 2 banks, which have been in Cyprus a little longer. But we've had a flying start. We had experienced teams from London and Athens in the shipping center and the shipping risk as well. We punch a little bit above our weight in the clients we want to attract to Cyprus, and I'm very proud of what we have achieved so far. The focus we have is in the Hellenic market, Cyprus and Greek shipping companies. Now, your question on where do I see our own bank, and I'd say the banking sector within the Cyprus shipping cluster, I'd say that shipping finance was a necessary part to complete the circle of the maritime cluster here in Cyprus, offering with shipping companies here in Cyprus with very good shipping services by various companies and ship management services and legal audits, insurance services, and superb support from the ministry and the government. I think ship finance was a necessary addition. In terms of challenges and opportunities, I'd say it is challenging to start a new activity in a bank. Bank of Cyprus had a shipping department. It was based in Greece all the way until 2013. We started afresh in 2017 17, 18, as I mentioned, and with a little bit different focus. It is a competitive sector, and you really need to be to know where you focus. So I've worked a smaller, more local bank versus a larger bank. I've worked for larger banks and know the comfort of having a big engine of resources, modeling, low costs behind you, helping you do the business. But the more local bank, like a Bank of Cyprus, can offer, I think, take advantage of the common language, culture, proximity to its clients, when what we do is relationship banking. And we can also, I strongly believe after 4 years at the Bank of Cyprus, that we can be more adaptable, faster when we need to be, and we can deliver when we need to move faster. So this is a major benefit for a smaller bank like Bank of Cyprus. I also have the support of my manager, an executive director and head of the global banking at the Bank of Cyprus, and our Posidonia reception in 2018 was hosted by a CEO. I think not many shipping clients get to meet the CEO of the bank and senior management when these are the major strategy decision makers, and that also offers a comfort to our clients, and we try to take maximum advantage of that. Just to borrow from the speech of the minister this morning, patience, perseverance, passion is what he said, and I think this very well characterize what we've done and what we intend to continue to do.
Thank you, Nicholas. Andonis, can we have your comments?
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. Also, my thanks to Mr. Bornozis for his kind invitation to this year's Capital Link Cyprus. It's a pleasure always. And of course, special thanks to you, Mr. Montanios, for your kind intro and for moderating the discussion we have today. Hellenic Bank has been active in shipping for many years through its dedicated shipping center at Limassol to assist mostly the local shipping companies with their daily operation and cash management tasks. But in 2016, Hellenic Bank decided to set up the shipping finance desk to extend credit for vessel financing and complement the existing services of the bank to the shipping community. The last 5 years have been exciting as the development of the financing unit has been consistent, gradual and cautious. Every year our business development improves, and with the new clients entering our portfolio, but also trying to cater the needs of our existing clientele. Which the positive aspect here is that the existing clients come again for a second or a third deal. So this means that they are satisfied with the service we offer. Of course, we have to mention that such development is achieved without taking excessive risks, as it happened to be the case in the past with other banks that were active in the sector. And our approach is driven by credit quality and not at all by targets, budgets, or only by income. So I would say that the challenge through the last 5 years was to convince all internal and external stakeholders that vessel financing is not so risky, and with the right loan structure, with the selection of credible counterparties and the right selection of marketable assets, could be a sustainable activity for a commercial bank like us. The opportunity, on the other hand, was that when we started our business back in 2016, we started on a clean slate without having to carry significant problems that other banks had to carry since the 2008 market collapse in shipping, which were dragging their balance sheet for many years. And we started at the time when banks realized the losses from past transactions and unavoidably had to take the decision to exit the shipping finance space. So all in all, regarding your question, yes, I believe we stayed the course. We were able to compete with established banks, and we managed to create relationships, business relationships with clients. And I think that we're here to stay for many years.
Thank you, Antonis. And last but not least, Dinos.
Thank you, Adam. It's always a pleasure to be in this panel and be moderated by you. And I would also like to take my turn in thanking Nicholas and his team for inviting us all here. It's always an honor and a great pleasure to be here. And I would like to congratulate Nicholas particularly and express my appreciation for all your effort, your energy, and your commitment in successfully organizing such events, even under these circumstances. And also, as discussed with my colleagues and Adam, I hope that next time we will all be sitting around the same table rather than split between our offices, homes, or wherever else. I think our presence here is sufficient proof, and we want to stress that we are staying the course. We have done so very diligently and with a lot of commitment, and we are also committed with a long-term view to shipping. We at Eurobank Cyprus have a presence locally for more than 5 years, both in shipping finance and on the operational side. And we have the privilege, of course, of belonging to the Eurobank Group, which has a long-term presence with the many decades of accumulated experience, demonstrated commitment, strong know-how in the sector. And throughout our local presence here, we have always benefited from the guidance, support, operational procedures, and expertise in assessing deals from our parent. Regarding our role in the cluster and the local cluster, of course, as my colleagues mentioned, the presence of local ship financiers is an important component of the cluster, not only in terms of ship lending, but also on the operational side in serving the needs of shipping companies, maintaining accounts and conducting transactions. But beyond this basic core, our services cover a comprehensive range of needs of clients at both the corporate and individual levels. And this has led to a successful bank-wide cross-selling of services to shipping clients over the years, which is also a demonstration of the client's trust in us. So this overall presence and ability to provide an integrated range of services is a very important component for the cluster to attract and service players of this industry, which is quite demanding. You mentioned about challenges and opportunities. I believe usually challenges and opportunities go hand in hand and are most of the time two sides of the same coin. In that challenges test your operating models and capabilities and force you to continually improve and develop. In the beginning of our local involvement in shipping, we were fortunate enough to have a very smooth ride because we adopted, tested practices and operating models of our parent, which had been in place successfully for a large number of years. In parallel, we have developed our relationship with clients, and I believe we have also established Eurobank Cyprus in itself as an important player in the market. Having said that, however, at the local level, we still had to prove, as my colleagues also mentioned, to our bank's internal bodies and our regulators, that we are indeed capable of developing a sustainable lending activity in Cyprus. This effort has so far been successful. We have managed, with the ongoing support of our parent, to establish a solid presence in the market, a very healthy loan book, which provides adequate diversification in the bank's overall lending portfolio. And we have built well-rounded relationships with our clients, which span, as I said, a complete range of our services. Another challenge was also the COVID pandemic, but which I think has so far been navigated successfully, but I guess we'll have a chance to expand more on this matter later.
Thank you all. Yes, exactly. We will go now to a very current issue. The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic are ever-reaching and far from over. As we heard from previous panels, the shipping industry was also affected in numerous ways. But can you share your own experience on the effects that this bank, both as regards your shipping operating department? Antonis, if you can go first.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. We all saw that COVID imposed by necessity a high level of flexibility in terms of remote working, as well as conducting business on a bank-wide level. So we had to adjust ourselves to this unprecedented shock. I have to note that the bank as a whole managed to overcome the COVID period with minimal impact as a result of our solid fundamentals in combination with a high quality clientele and loan portfolio. So specifically in shipping, we also had to adjust as we had transaction closings through electronic platforms and other remote ways of doing business. The most important issue, of course, with our customers, among others, was the crew change, an issue for which we have to congratulate also the local authorities and the minister for taking quick actions, and since they managed to be a pioneer at global level to help companies and their crew. However, the crisis spread as a result of COVID appeared to the shipping finance unit as an opportunity. In line with our strategy and our counter-cyclical approach for deals, and also given the fact that we have a long-term perspective to the financings we seek, we feel justified for our choice to provide financing when other banks had a more hesitant approach. History, and I think everyone agrees with that, has shown that the biggest mistakes in shipping finance have been done in booming periods when the market is high. On the contrary, the low asset values and freight market during 2020, at least for dry and container ship sector, offered many opportunities with low downside risk, and as a result, we managed to expand our portfolio with the right counterparties under a favorable structure for both the client and the bank.
Thank you, Antonis. Dinos?
Well, the pandemic was from its start was a source of concern for us on two fronts. One, both obviously on the one was on the credit side, where there was an increased caution for a possible adverse effect on our borrowers' operations and revenues, and consequently on the impact this could have on our the performance of our loans. So we were all on high alerts to monitor how things are going, and with frequent reporting internally, etc. Also on the operational front, as with most companies around the world, part of the bank staff had to be working from home on rotation. There were internal relocations for safety reasons, which posed a challenge in the continuation of the smooth operations, but everything turned out quite well. I believe we didn't have serious problems in and inefficiencies, and of course, now that things are significantly improved, we are back into normal operation. Regarding our borrowers and the credit side, despite the challenging 2020, especially the first half of the year, our clients proved that they were well equipped to withstand the crisis for as long as it lasted, especially the hard first part of 2020. And we have all seen how the market in the dry and container sectors has bounced back impressively in 2021. This was for us a big test for the resilience of our portfolio and an opportunity to prove that indeed this sector has a global outreach. It owners can relocate vessels wherever there are trades. China was very successful in bouncing back. There were stimulus measures all around the world. And overall, I think it was a test in practice of the prudency in which we lend, rather than, just basing our concerns in theory. So after this test, I think we're all more confident on what we are doing. And I believe that all stakeholders involved in our decisions and operation have been convinced that getting into shipping and lending to shipping companies in the way that we do was a very successful choice. Let me add, Adam, that in the local market, the Cyprus government made available by law a moratorium on principal and interest installments to all borrowers in the local banking system. As an indication of the healthy status of our clients, we had a few such requests, only in the dry sector and only for the deferral of principal. And even these were made for cash flow prudency reasons, rather than as actions in distress. Interest was serviced normally, and after the expiry of the moratorium in 2021, we've even seen prepayments of the deferred amounts, supported by the strong recovery of the dry sector.
Good, thank you, Dinos. Nicholas.
Yes, thank you. I also want to, without repeating things that were said, just to expand on what Dino was saying, this ministerial decree back in March, personally, it seemed a little bit too soon and a bit too generous, but in hindsight, this was an appropriate measure, and I'm really happy that this was offered. A couple of our clients requested and obtained this, and but obviously that was the darkest time when we're going through the tunnel back in April, May, when we didn't know where this is going to end. It was a really horrific situation with the market at its knees, and we didn't know if there was going to be a vaccination and when that will be available. People were talking about 2 or 3 years down the road. So I fully appreciate, and what was done was properly done. Our shipping portfolio performed well at the Bank of Cyprus, and as one of the unexpected benefits was that it performed comparatively better than some other corporate portfolios, and that I think that had multiple benefits. One, our clients got comfort that we reacted appropriately in the crisis, and two, our internal committees and the senior management of the bank saw the resilience of the shipping portfolio, and that created more comfort in what we do. So it was a little bit of a good outcome out of this crisis. Working from home was difficult. Not meeting our clients as a bank that is developing its portfolio was hard. We got on the phones and virtual meetings, and but we realized some of that is useful and it works, like our present virtual conference. But the need for the personal meeting is necessary. I think that is one of the lessons of the pandemic of the past 18 months. Now, in terms of business development, the first half of 2020, there was less sale and purchase transactions, and that was the outcome of the uncertainty and the logistical difficulties, changing crews, inspecting ships, etc. That caught up later, and I'm not referring to a specific sector, but in 2021, there were more financing opportunities, and there was more S&P activity. But on the other side, we had 4 or 5 loan prepayments, which is a sign because of vessel sales. And that is, in my mind, a sign of a healthy market. Overall, our systems performed well, and that was really comforting. More of our clients were using the online banking, remote closings were agreed, and some of these have set some benchmarks which might be useful in the future. But in general, as a comment, I'd say that we're coming out of the pandemic stronger.
Thank you, Nicholas. It's good that we saw something good that came out from the pandemic, at least to the banks and for your superiors. We'll go to another current matter. We hear ESG, climate alignment, sustainability, words and concepts which are increasingly heard these days, even within the ship financing industry, which we wouldn't normally expect it. We had the Poseidon principles, the LMA's green loan principles. But now we hear that the European Commission's taxonomy regulation is a potential game changer to the ship financing. How did this affect ship financing? How do you see the effect on your own bank and the bank's approach to this overall shift? Dinos?
Well, our bank at present has not adopted the Poseidon principles, which we all understand was structured by a group of banks with a different size, commercial and lending scope to ours. We are following our group's policies with respect to ESG matters, which at present consist mainly in maintaining our same product offering and lending strategy in the second-hand market, while focusing on, while including rather ESG-related clauses in our loan agreements. We keep an eye on the environmental efficiency of the vessels that we finance, which is not always a function of age. It is sometimes, but not always the case. Of course, it goes without saying that we are lending to very well-managed, responsible client groups, which have been in compliance and remain in compliance with the prevailing regulations as these evolve over time. While in the long term, of course, we keep monitoring the regulations and we will adjust accordingly. So for us, it is a matter of waiting for the European regulations to crystallize in detail, and we will follow all requirements that we need to in order to keep operating, while always doing it under a sense of environmental responsibility in our operation, not only in shipping, but also bank-wide.
Thank you, Dinos. Nicholas?
Thank you. I'd say the first thing is that the approach of the bank, which is what you asked, is focus on quality of, in terms of the owners, the assets, the operations. We look a lot on the track record of our clients and the specific assets. I don't believe older means necessarily inferior in terms of vessels. Having said that, the average age of the ships we finance is about 10 years old. The bank has a strict environmental policy, and I'm sure most banks do. And you mentioned taxonomy. This is all European banks look at this and will try to align, create a green policy and align themselves with the regulation of the European Union. I personally feel, if I can offer a general comment, that people, and might surprise some other people abroad, but people here in Cyprus feel very close to the environmental and sustainability issues. Many people live from the environment, from the land or the sea, and they consume local products, and the country doesn't have major heavy industries. So there's a lot of sensitivity which filters through to the organizations and the way they operate. In terms of the Poseidon principles, I can't avoid saying that I think in principle this is a worthy initiative, so it goes in the right direction. As a developing a new bank, it is difficult to adopt that straight away. We've taken advice, and we still take advice from legal advisors and other people on issues of costs, resources we need to, and time we need to allocate on this. But also every loan that we do in terms of is a significant proportion of our existing portfolio. So the picture is a little bit uncertain right now. So as a not mature portfolio, if I should say, I think it'd be unfair for us to start it. But it is certainly at the focus of our mentality, and it doesn't in any way mean that the quality is not our focus. I'd borrow again something that the minister said this morning, using the acronym C: sustainability, being sustainable, extrovert, and adaptable. I think that what we need to do. Sustainability should be our focus. Extrovert, we need to be and exchange views with other people and adopt our ways to and change them to the better where we can.
Thank you, Nicholas. And Antonis?
Yes, the ESG as a concept ranks at the top of Hellenic Bank agenda, that's for sure. This is an undisputed and firm position for us and the bank as a whole. I think it's the duty of every bank to prioritize its strategy on a bank-wide basis in line with ESG regulations and trends if they want to maintain a leading position in the industry. Moreover, regarding the maritime industry, I believe that it often gets the attention of many authorities, despite the fact that shipping and maritime still remains the most efficient and eco-friendly way of transport versus land and air. And we see that such issues are constantly at the front of every discussion, and measures that realistically support the green transition should be welcome and supported by all stakeholders. However, we observe that there is still a lack of clear direction on the way and the timing of relevant measures implementation. The latest IMO committee, of which I saw the results, there was a discussion about the specific measures to be implemented in 2023, and there was an alignment about the energy existing ship index, the EEXI, as we know, but there was a serious disagreement regarding carbon intensity indicator. So these and other measures will probably necessitate the vessel sailing at lower speeds. And also maybe or additionally could call for significant capital expenditures that have to be funded by the ship owners. The speed reduction will definitely reduce the available tonnage and support freight rates, but such measure is not easy to implement in some sectors like the dry bulk versus the container ship. Regarding the European taxonomy regulation, which is the latest news, I would say, I strongly believe that it is an acknowledgement of the shipping industry at the European Union level, and that's why it got a warm welcome by the European Community Ship Owner Association, where Cyprus and Greece have a very strong presence. But at the same time, I believe that the association pointed out that such transition should be based on realistic ways and criteria. So going specifically for financing, I think we're at the right direction, as we do not finance overage vessels above a certain age. And if they're not energy efficient, they're totally out of our policy. So we're very cautious to the vessels we finance, and we also check, as the other colleagues said, the operational track record of the ship owners. In conclusion, I believe that the shipping ecosystem, including owners, banks, and regulatory bodies, has shown an exceptional adaptability to the contemporary needs at any previous period in history, and therefore will continue doing so by finding the optimal financing solutions for the green transition.
Thank you, Antonis. We're running a bit out of time, but I'll try to keep our questions quickly. So my next one to all of you: your banks are all offering through healthy competition between yourself, may I add, traditional ship financing, targeting the same market, Greek and Cypriot-based shipping groups. However, how do you see the competition coming from other Europeans or international banks to you, offering traditional ship finance as you, or from other organizations offering alternative finance, share leasing, etc.? Nicholas, this time.
Okay, thank you. I'll try to be quick. You mentioned healthy competition between us. There might be some, but I'll add that there is points of common interest. And you know, Adam, that we spoke a few times on common on issues of common interest. I occasionally speak to Montanios or Constantinos for regulatory issues that we can all benefit and promote the maritime cluster. The main competition is from Greek banks and European banks. And I think the resilience of shipping attracted more banks towards shipping after the major exodus by some big banks. And particularly the better risk now commands very competitive terms. I feel that you need to be in markets and compete with that if you want to be in the top quartile of the Greek business, if you want to do. In terms of other alternative, there's funds, alternative financing, there's funds which often offer equity, but sometimes mortgage financing. And more recently, not more recently, but more importantly, lease structures from Chinese and Japanese institutions. And I feel the terms and the approach is not the same with the relationship banking that we do, is probably even complementing what we do, and an owner might have those additional terms of high leverage or longer term to complement what he does with his relationship banks. So that's why I do not see them as a substitute or a direct competition with us. I think we need to, in general, and concluding, I think we need to radiate confidence to the market, show them that we're a safe pair of hands, we're reliable partners, and we're here for the long term. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Adonis?
Yes, in general, I think indeed it's very encouraging that there is a healthy competition between Cypriot and Hellenic banks. Although sometimes we have to compete with other European banks of multiple size and lower cost of funding, the size of the Greek shipping market, which is more than 50 billion and spreads around 500 groups, allows for such healthy competition. Therefore, despite the fact that we face global competition of various forms, including Chinese leasing and alternative capital providers that adhere to significantly more relaxed regulatory requirements, if any requirements, especially when we're talking about private equity, we believe that the bank financing, which comes mainly from European banks, will still be the first choice for the clients we want to have in our portfolio. For us, it's a matter of chemistry between the risk appetite of the bank and the risk profile of the client we want to have. Fundamentally, the bank is a risk-averse organization, and specifically Hellenic Bank SIP Finance Unit mandate is to grow responsibly and with a good risk-return profile.
Thank you, Adonis. Dinos, you are last. We have 1.5 minutes and they will close our panel. Your views.
Thank you, Adam. I believe that, as also Nicola said, we have a symbiotic relationship. Cyprus, the market is big enough for all banks, and we all contribute to the same focus to improve the sector and to further develop the cluster in Cyprus. To put things in a global perspective, I believe the traditional ship lending market globally is around 330 billion. The size of the Greek, of the ship lending to Greek ship owners is around 50 to 55 billion, whereas the capacity, not the actual exposures right now, but the capacity of the Cyprus market is just over 1 billion, I estimate. So we are, in terms of figures, we are a drop in the ocean in the global ship lending. But having said that, although we are not indeed in a position to compete with a larger European international bank transactions where the pricing spreads are lower and the ticket size is too large, we're still not necessarily addressing the same target market. Our focus is on small to medium-sized transactions for clients within our target profile and geographical scope, which is Cyprus and Greece, and mostly relate to the second-hand market. I believe in this segment, we have a competitive edge because we address transactions that maybe are below the radar for the very large players. Not always, of course, competition is always there and we feel it, but on the other hand, we offer better, more competitive pricing than other alternative providers, private equity funds and alternative lenders. We have seen clients, using debt from various sources, even the capital markets. What I believe is that despite our smaller size, we can offer the competitive edge of having a local presence, direct access to our clients, a very personalized and high level of service, operating hours which accommodate their needs. And we always maintain our culture and stand by it in developing well-rounded long-term banking relationships rather than doing pure asset deals, which relationships cover a broad range of needs of shipping companies and their owners. So over the years, I'm very confident that we've shown that we are strongly committed to shipping, and this is something that I hope is evident also to our clients and has helped us to earn their trust.
Thank you all. Okay, having heard from the people who are guiding the shipping and heading the shipping operations of the Cyprus Bank, yes, my own conclusions is that you have successfully stayed the course. You have established Cyprus as a regional hub for ship financing, shipping, and I think Cypriot banks are here to stay and grow within an expanding Cyprus shipping cluster, despite all international competitions. Nicholas, sorry we are late.
Not at all. Don't worry, you're right on time, actually. So that is perfectly fine. Thank you to all of you. Thank you, Adam, Andoni, Nicholas, and Constantinos. Great pleasure to have you with us. Thank you very much. And I hope next February we'll be able to be together in person.
Okay, thank you.
Let's hope so. Thank you very much.
Same here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.